We just finished Blake's amended complaint. My goodness, took us 7 hours all in, but we finally finished. We're going to talk about some of the stuff we noticed, but we also got to talk about this. Now the Hollywood Reporter has seemingly outed the two actresses' names. They're pretty much being bullied to respond. We got to talk about this. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. I'm here with Kim. Man, it's been a long show, eh, Kim?
Yeah, it's been a lot, but it's important. We got to go through everything. You got to look at everything. So, we definitely saw a lot more about the retaliation campaign today while we read the documents going into things even more current up until January of this year. So it was an interesting read to go through everything. Did see some comments, which essentially, I guess you could say, would be evidence, obviously, that things did happen, but it does seem that there is this push through the documents that all of the negative attention was because of Justin. And I think that was one thing we kind of had a lot of conversations about of, how much of this was organic and how much of it was allegedly a campaign.
1,000%. I want to go through some of those things, but I do want to start with this story because I see two different spins here, honestly, Kim. I see Hollywood Reporter basically outing the two actors. To be fair, we sort of guessed too. I don't think it's that unfair. I mean, I don't know. It's tough because it's unfair of Blake to force them in this, which is what I feel like she's done. Because there really aren't a lot of major female actors in this, but sources indicate the two women are Jenny Slate and Isabel Ferrer. Now, they couldn't be reached for comments, yada, yada. But anyway, that's what we all assumed. The main actress and the one who came in later all sort of goes into what if you're reading it, that would make the most sense. As TMZ is now reporting, of course, witnesses are staying anonymous. They're terrified of threats and bullying. Now, this smells like Blake's PR team trying to spin why they're not coming forward. While I agree they're going to face this and it's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If he's really the guy you're saying, why wouldn't you stand with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift and definitively expose this abuser and predator for what he is? To me, their silence speaks louder to the fact that maybe they really didn't want to be a part of this, Blake. Maybe this got blown out of proportion more than they ever really wanted to or expected to. And now that their names are getting called out in the trades, it's going to affect them in ways that, did they ask for this? Should they have been outed like this? Should they have been pushed to this level, Blake? Why? Because you got some bad press in August? That you did! The press in August, she puts in this thing, guys, this downward spike. This is when Kirsty's interview came out, when she was caught advertising booze and naming an alcoholic drink about one of the characters in the movie. You were absolutely tone deaf. Even if Justin's team planted some of it, it's still your actions. You got to be accountable for your actions. Two things can be true. And I don't know what happened, but I'm just saying, let's humor her for a second, guys. Even if Justin was too huggy or whatever the heck, or said she was sexy, none of this warrants this. And you still have to atone for what you did, which was bully Kirsty in that junket, which there's no way Justin's team held on to some Norwegian junket for months and months and months, years, and then just dropped it as if that's his doing. Guys, she goes in and there's a lot of Twitter complaints, some of which, 2 or 3 of them are horrid and shouldn't be there, but some of them are spot on. And yeah, you got bad press. It happens. Most celebrities have to deal with it. Why is Blake Lively's name placed higher? Is it also her edit? Yeah, I mean, look, we're supposed to feel for you. This is a fair comment. There's a lot of comments that she puts in here that you're just like, why would you want to take over someone's movie? The outfits in this end are so out of touch. No, we don't want to watch bullies like Blake. Yeah, I agree.
I would even argue with the comment about the outfits. Was there not comments that came from Sony during filming after people saw footage of them shooting events with us and were like, what is Lily wearing? This isn't what I imagined Lily to be wearing. People didn't like the outfits then. That's not Justin. It's at points it feels like there is a lack of accountability. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how much of this campaign, and I say that in quotations, they're going to be able to prove. Because some of this does come across a bit out of touch in the sense that none of this is her fault, it seems, in her mind. There's no ownership of any of these controversial clips that came out, any of the slurs that she used, anything like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll through because, again, she mentions Kirsty's video. I think just like old Junkin, she mentions it, and then it's like, nearly decade-old interview surface commenting on her tone, posture, diction, language. She fails to admit the bullying like that you did. That has nothing to do with Justin. That's you. You and both and Parker criticized how she was marketing the film in the context, of course, repeatedly called a bully, a mean girl, controlling. They were calling you those because of the junket. Not because of astroturfing from Justin. That's what's so frustrating me. She had a bad August. She did. And I think there was a lot of buildup of people who didn't like her. She's always had some history of this, Kim. The Gossip Girls days, she's always been a little bit like of a Regina George from Mean Girls, like girl who's had it all forever. And yeah, some people get fed up with them and want to call them out. It happens. I'm not saying that's right, but welcome to being famous. And yeah, you got to face the fact that you're a little out of touch. Not everyone thinks you're the crown straightening perfect person. Welcome to the world. They go after Taylor Swift too. Everybody gets it. I got way worse comments, Kim, in this year compared to what she tried to play off as, oh, poor me, it's such a bad thing. It's ridiculous. And the manipulation in here. We talked about this yesterday, but one little point I didn't say, I think in that recap, while we commented on this, I was tired, but she's writing this letter to the writer, complaining and apologizing profusely for how horrific it was. She didn't mean to. I said Ryan wrote a scene and I was ambushed and mortified. She fails at this point, which she wrote it on August 11th, right as all the stuff's happening. Then she writes this long email to the writer to apologize. But did you mention all the other moments that you and your dragons took over the whole script? Notice, Kim, how she avoided all that? I wonder how this writer, Christy, feels now, reading all of Blake's texts and how much she wanted to rewrite it, where Justin's saying, I'd like to incorporate her, and Blake's pretty much just mad that Justin's not letting her take the pages fully. I mean, it's so manipulative, no? Do you see it too?
There's definitely, this letter for me feels strange, and I also think that it's very strange we didn't see the response. Right? There's so much in this lawsuit, and I think we talked about it a bit yesterday, that it's a lot of her text, things that she's said to people. And yes, that does explain your point of view and your experience, but it's evidence of how you felt. It's evidence of what you interpreted. And I think what people were looking for was to be able to take her claim seriously was a bit more context, a bit more information, understanding more of the culture of what was going on. But, it really doesn't feel like she brought a lot to the table here as far as evidence. And I think that that's going to hurt her in the long run in this case.
Well, and I to come back to it, to bookend this, like these other actresses who may have felt uncomfortable for whatever reason. I don't know the extent of it. There's levels for me of what that is. There's moments that can feel uncomfortable or creepy that maybe aren't the level of harassment, is what the reality is here. There is he said, she said. There's different opinions and viewpoints of how things were perceived. I wasn't there, but all I know is doesn't seem like these two women really want to be a part of this. They're only going to come forward if they're forced to in court of law. Blake, why are you making them do that? If it was really important to them, they'd speak out. They'd be co-defendants with you. Like, get the hint, girl. Maybe there's a part of this where you're not paying attention to the fact that they are feeling pushed by you, Blake, to continue this. And why? Because you got a bad spike in August? Is that what this is ultimately about? As she goes in, it's also about the fact that her hair care brand, right, Kim, lost a lot of money on its launch. And it all must have been because of this. Not the fact that, Kim, we brought it up, her hair care lawn cost $80. Her, what is it called? The hair system? I'll give her the plug. I'll give it to you. Look at this shit. Look at this weird Jenga block. Who can fit this in their shower? $78 for shampoo? Oh, but it's Justin's fault, Kim.
It's a lot. And I mean, it's stuff like she said, the projections, that it was a decline based on the projections. Projections aren't always correct. There's just a lot of things here. I think she has a really long road ahead of her to prove that all of this was Justin. All of it was Justin. I don't believe that all of it was, but I will listen to the evidence. I will hear her out. But based on what we're seeing, as I said yesterday, it's a lot of trust me, bro, at this point, and I'm going to need a bit more than that.
And I definitely can't fit this in my shower. I don't know about you guys. What the heck is this nonsense? Nerd, buy 2 shampoos. It's better. Oh my God. Girl, this is a hard brand to break into. You can't blame Justin on all of this. It's ridiculous the amount she's leaning in to say it's all Justin's fault. No, it's not. It's not all Justin's fault. A lot of this is your doing, your behavior. You could have apologized to Kirsty. You could have not taken. She allegedly was supposed to host Saturday Night Live in September. Imagine she just done it and poked fun at herself. And then we all tried to move on and she built her brand back up rather than keep trying to threaten and expose Justin for hugging people and saying she's sexy. Honestly, I still don't even understand what this is all about. Everything in this complaint, Kim, reads more like no, guys, trust me, it was really bad. I'm not going to tell you what it is exactly, but others felt that way. I'm not going to tell you what they did, but trust me, he's a monster, and it's all his fault that my businesses are failing. No, it's not. It's not. You took this too far. The amount of money being spent on this lawsuit is so depressing. So depressing. And I can see why Justin's doing it because he's got to defend his name, his business, his brand. He can't get any gigs. Blake, your movie's still premiering at South by Southwest. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. You were at Saturday Night Live. You've had opportunities she says she doesn't take them because she doesn't feel like she can go. You're not losing opportunities, it sounds like. You're just refusing to take them. Justin can't do anything. This wasn't worth it. This wasn't worth it. The audience just didn't like you. You got to come to terms with that. Enough already. And stop forcing these women to have your back on this. They clearly don't want to. Is that mean of me to say, Kim? I'm not trying to negate it, but don't you think if this was important to them, they'd be the co-defendants or they'd support her more or they'd come out louder? I get it. They're terrified. It is hot out there. It's hard to come forward, but it must not be that worth it. Why keep a predator and abuser away if it's really truthful and it's really that bad? Do you get the sense that maybe they're like, we're good, Blake, leave us alone?
I mean, I think it could go either way. I don't blame them for being nervous about the vitriol online. Some people are really, really cruel and they're really mean and they overstep and people get harassed. And that's awful. I think the biggest thing I have with this is that Blake's claims, it's about what happened to her. Right. And I don't, unless they're plaintiffs, I have questions about how relevant their testimony is going to be. And I'm not a legal expert. I'd love to hear more insight on that. But it's just, I thought this was about her and it's starting to feel like it's not. And I guess time will tell. Time will tell. But I don't like a lot of the speculation about who they are and all this other type of stuff. If they want to be anonymous, they should be able to be anonymous and that should be the end of it. But
if it is the young Lily, the Isabella girl, she's going to suffer the worst from this because she's nobody.
If you scroll down in the TMZ article a little bit, keep going. Right there. Last sentence there, or it is a sentence, but just saying that that basically what Steve said would rattle anyone, especially those just getting started in the industry.
Right, and there's rumors that this came from Justin's co-host who ratted this out, so who knows how truthful this all is. Where did she come from? So many questions that are coming forward. All I know is this was a terrible look, and if it is Isabella, the young artist, she wrote a really glowing letter about how amazing her experience was on the movie. That's not going to help her testimony in a court of law. It's like, dude, why'd you write that if it was so bad? There's going to be a lot of questions. I think they know it. I think that's why they don't go in the specifics here, because it seems more damning if you don't go specific. It can be more, it must be really bad. If it was bad, she would have it. If it was bad, it would be in this lawsuit. Even if they didn't want to come forward, Kim, I believe they would have given her more of the texts and exchanges and incidents to make it look bad. They still could have done that and kept them anonymous, but they don't provide anything, guys. It's just nothing, and the nothing burger in this. So, hey, Blake, I don't know what you're thinking. Get out of this before it's too late. I don't know. I don't even know how. We'll have to discuss that in a future episode. What do you think they could do, chat? Is there any way Blake can turn this around? We got a lot more content coming for your way this way on live. If you missed the replay, become a member on Patreon. We have the first one free, but you got to join us on Patreon because we're trying to support our documentary coming up. The replay will be on Patreon. We read the other 50-ish pages or whatever it was, another 3-hour stream. So check it out over there. Thanks everybody who supported. We're not done live, but if you're watching on the replay, we love you. Support. It's Kim. She's on YouTube. Go follow, support, PayPal her, etc. She's got a lot of content coming for you as well. And we're just getting started. It's not ending with us. My goodness, we've streamed for almost 8 hours to do this complaint. If you want to watch part 2, it is going to be behind the paywall over on Patreon because we're trying to get you to support our upcoming documentary, which will be available for all Patreon members. Head on over there, support it. A lot is coming there in Patreon the next month. I promise it's going to be worth it, and you'll be supporting our investigations and our documentary and the channel. And you'll also be able to catch us uncensored tomorrow. That's right. We'll be live tomorrow uncensored at 12 for both members of Patreon here on YouTube. Appreciate you guys so much. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for alerts and stay tuned. We got a lot more coming your way. Love you all. Enjoy your night.